This is Coach Chris Holtman. You're listening to Drive the Lane podcast.
All right. That is 3 all rights, and we are here on the Drive the Lane podcast, recording during the Wisconsin-Ohio State basketball game. You've already seen our post-game review, but we have a great show today. You know, we talk about some of the Buckeyes who are going pro. We talk some Big Ten basketball, and we interview Ohio State basketball legend, the most recent Big Ten Player of the Year from Ohio State, Keita Bates-Diop, one of Joey's best friends. Incredible interview. It was so fun having him on the show. The first of, I want to say, many times that he joins the show. But before we get to all that, do you need some new gear for the new decade? Because if you do, you need to check out our presenting sponsor, High Street Tees. They have vintage OSU shirts, mugs, glasses, and introducing their new gift buckets. It's perfect for any Ohio State fan, old, new, young, old. You know, it is vintage. It is the stuff you want to get to remember all the great places. You know, they got Mama Passing Brew. They got Threes. They got Mean Mr. Mustards. They got it all. Check them out. Visit their site, highstreettees.com/DTL, and use our promo code DTL15 for 15% off your order. That's DTL15 for 15% off. Let's do this. Can't wait for you guys to hear this Keita Bates-Diop interview. Buckle up and drive the lane.
And we are back, and my heart can't take another loss. Ohio State is losing 29-25 at the half, and that's why we're recording, because the game's not going on. As you'll hear in the interview, we recorded a little bit while it was going on, but I'm a little in shock. Wisconsin ended the half on an 8-0 run. I'm blabbering on and on and on. It is a great show, but just know that we're going to throw out a post-game review of this. And if you're hearing this and we didn't do that, it could be because we lost.
Yeah, definitely.
We're not going to lose, but, oh, jeez. I just can't.
Regardless.
Nancy Lane can't take another loss.
Regardless, win or lose, this Buckeye team is just hitting a little bit of a wall. And you know, it can be kind of expected with the teams that you beat in the beginning, but it's not a good sign to hit a wall in Big Ten play. And, you know, they could come out and blow this game out of the water in the second half. But either way, I think – you know, it's tough with Kyle Young out right now. Your bench is depleted a little bit. You know, you don't want to work guys too hard that aren't used to doing it. Justin Arn's got some first half minutes, but, you know, some adjustments definitely need to be made. Not major adjustments, but little tweaks, definitely not to the defense, little tweaks to the offense to kind of clean things up a little bit. You'd like to see DJ Carton maybe up the scoring a little bit. You know, maybe Caleb has to now take on a bigger load with Kyle Young out. But there's just some things that can improve the kind of lackluster performances we've seen the last couple weeks.
And there's your expert analysis from Andrew Zolden.
Well, do you agree with that?
I don't disagree. I think...
So you agree?
I don't disagree. I don't know. It's just... It's one half. We can't judge them off one half. That's not fair without Kyle. But it just goes to show you that clearly, our front court doesn't have a ton of depth, you know, which is fine. I mean, we have great players, but maybe just not as much depth as the best team of all time would have. Not every team can have tons and tons of depth. That's fine. I mean, but it is definitely showing you that the Kyle Young, the stuff that he does that nobody notices, is now getting noticed because you know, that it's just not. You could say turnovers, you could say whatever. I mean, it's just we're a better team than Wisconsin, so hopefully pull it out. It is a little frustrating to see them hit kind of a wall, but every team hits a wall every single year. I mean, that's just
better to hit it early.
Yeah. I mean, you said a wall in Big Ten play, it's Big Ten play, but it's also the first 2 games that don't count, basically. Really, I mean, so now they just started Big Ten play, so it's not fair to, you know, say.
Yeah,
it's the beginning, so it's fine. Whatever, go Buckeyes.
One thing I would like to see is, you know, EJ Liddell has to take on a little bit of a bigger role while Kyle's out, and he may not necessarily be ready for that right now, but that could have a positive impact come the end of the season, come next year when he has a much larger role. So it could end up being a blessing in disguise later down the road for EJ to get kind of this exposure early on in the season that Holt definitely wasn't necessarily expecting.
Yeah, I mean, it's all Coach Holt always talks about how, yeah, there is a component of next man up when you lose a guy, but it's all about the team. So, I mean, the team has to step up in whatever way that means. You know, Kyle, it's not like we're losing a ton of scoring, but we're losing rebounding, we're losing hustle. He guards the big man when Caleb's not out there. So the team has to pick up in those different areas, and a lot of that falls on EJ, which he was okay in the first half. He made some mistakes, but no one has to play perfect. No one has to step up and score 30 points. Like, that's just not how the system of Ohio State basketball works. I mean, but it's okay. I mean, the fact that we are nitpicking the first half in a Big Ten game at home is great. That's a great situation to be in. So.
But it does kind of stretch a little bit to the last few games, but it's more hyper-focused because we're watching this game right now.
Yeah.
We've been a little heartbroken the last couple
days. I mean, I thought I left sports hell, but right now listening to Andy Katz talk about the Ohio State-Wisconsin game is just making me lose my mind. So
coming up,
I don't know how Andy Katz is on every single halftime show ever.
Every network.
He works for
flying
every
to
network.
Bristol for the games tomorrow on ESPN.
Speaking of ESPN, how cool is it that LeBron and his son are both on ESPN tonight?
Very cool. It's like when
me and Scott Lane were on ESPN.
Or when Tyvis and Cardale are both on ESPN. So a lot of Big Ten games are happening tomorrow on Saturday. Like we said, we're recording this on Friday. Indiana's going to Maryland. Both teams are 11-2. You'd expect Maryland to win that one, but who knows?
But Indiana can't win away from home, so that'll be a 0-0 final.
We got another ranked game: Iowa and Penn State.
Iowa's ranked.
Iowa's ranked 23rd. Iowa is
at Penn State.
Iowa at Penn State.
I'll take Iowa. No.
Iowa
was the only team last year that beat the shit out of Penn State.
Well, Iowa's always ranked in both sports, like 24 to 14. Always in both sports. They're always hanging around that 24 to 14.
No, I
range.
will say that every year, just like I kind of said how Illinois finds a way to lose every single game, which we'll get into, Iowa is always ranked throughout the whole year, and they'll get up as high as 6,
right,
and then go down to 22, and then back up to 14, and kind of what you're saying.
You think they hit 6?
But yeah,
that's pretty high.
My freshman year, we beat them when they were 8. So what I'm getting to is they always run out of gas at the end of the year. It never fails. They always lose. They always lose a couple of games they shouldn't lose in the Big Ten, and then they squeak into the tournament, and maybe they win one, maybe they don't. I mean, it's just like it never fails.
But Yesterday, Michigan State played Illinois, and we are on the record on the show saying that we know Michigan State will figure it out. And I believe, and Joey somewhat agrees with, if not fully agrees with, we think Illinois is a bunch of frauds.
I've been saying that since my existence.
Since you could pick up a basketball, you've been saying Illinois is a bunch of frauds.
Correct.
Ayo can't do it himself, and the walking STD has kind of. I think he got his.
Where's Trent
Frazier? I think he got like a gonorrhea shot, and now he's cured.
He's the crawling STD now?
He got just absolutely dominated by the University of Missouri, okay? Bounced back.
That's not good.
Bounced back against, who's NCAT? NCAT.
North Carolina A&T.
North Carolina A&T. Okay, at 26 against NCAT, okay? But he had 5 last night, 2 for 10 shooting against Michigan State. Ayo needs more help from the walking STD.
Well,
or the frauds are going to fraud.
I'm telling you. First of all, there was a video of Coach Underwood yelling in the huddle, going, "Why are we getting back on so much?" It's like, dude, that's because that's how you play. But people gush over Kofi, Cockburn, whatever his name is.
Just call him WSTD.
And Ayo. Trent Frazier is the guy who's so impressive to me when the dude is just like a microwave, just gets hot and makes these threes like it's so easy. And then Georgie Bashanishvili is like one of the best bigs in the Big Ten. And where's he been? It's just when they win games, he's great. So it's not a coincidence.
They're just inconsistent, and when you're inconsistent and you get praise.
When you're inconsistent, you're not consistent.
Exactly.
You are consistent.
Good call, Booger. That's a Booger quote. What I think Chase Young needs to do to go in the first round is be a top 32 pick. We'll get to that. But when you're called consistent, when you're inconsistent, that has the makings of a fraud. So I'm putting my fraud stamp on Illinois.
Well, okay. I feel like we already gave them that stamp. But
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring it up every week until they, for sure, we jinx it and they beat Ohio State. But until that happens, they're frauds.
I don't want to talk about Ohio State.
All right, let's not talk about Ohio State basketball.
Do we have to talk about Ohio State?
Let's talk about Ohio State football. Some positives of Ohio State football.
Drew Chrisman's coming back.
Drew Chrisman's coming back. That is huge. If he wasn't coming back, you could probably expect 4 Buckeyes to go in the top 4 former Buckeyes to go in the top 4. So this is what is going on right now in the college football world. Our social media intern.
He's trying to get to his notes to show Andrew.
Our social media intern tweeted this. If everything goes according to mock drafts, which who knows if it will, the top 3 picks in the draft will all have played for Ohio State. Joseph Burrow will be going to the Bengals.
Joey Buckets.
Young Chase 907, or as we like to call him, Chase Young, will be heading back to the D.C. suburbs to play for the Redskins. And Okudah, Jeffrey Okudah, who had a absolutely incredible, beautiful piece on the Players Tribune, will be heading to the Lions. And what I think is interesting about that is Okudah could shift up and down. Okudah could go as high as 3, could go as low as 10, probably.
Okudah Matata.
But I think you got Joe Burrow cemented as 1, and you got Chase Young cemented as 2, and you got a reunion in D.C. with Chase Young, Terry McLaurin, and Dwayne Haskins, and the only thing is missing that I said should have happened is Urban Meyer.
Urban's not coaching there.
But it's not that crazy because I know they have a coach now, Ron Rivera, but other teams are talking about Urban, so it's not that crazy that he could have been a head coach in Washington. And I think Washington will forever regret not signing Urban Meyer.
What if he's the coach of the Cowboys?
Then he gets Zeke and Mike Weber.
Don't joke about that because Tyvus was on the practice team for the Cowboys too.
Yeah, but Mike Weber was like, it was him and Zeke. That's funny.
I know. Well,
also, Tyvus will be on an NFL team next year. Just saying.
Why would I? If I'm Urban, why would I coach? He's so good at what he does.
He is really good.
You know why he would coach is because he loves coaching.
Did you see what ESPN said?
Yeah,
John Anderson.
Yeah, that was
funny. It was funny, and his family kind of flipped out.
Yeah,
but I thought
they
it was
always
funny.
do, which is fine. I would go to war for my family just like they do.
Yeah, but I thought it was funny.
Sensitive. Yeah.
For those of you that didn't hear it, and ESPN hates Ohio State. John Anderson, a Mizzou alum, maybe I feel for him a little more. It was a funny joke. We probably have said a joke like that on this podcast.
Yeah, I see both sides of why you would be.
I get the family being upset, but I don't think it was like Twitter uproar worthy.
I know it was. They're like the Calipari's. You say something bad about Brad Calipari or John Calipari, and the wife and the sisters.
What could you say bad about John Calipari?
I don't know. Nothing. His haircut. I don't know.
How he gets all these top recruits. There's nothing you could say.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, like they're the same way in terms of they're the first families of Twitter. They just get after you if you say anything wrong about them. But I don't see Urban. Obviously, Ron Rivera's the coach of the Redskins, but aren't the Browns going to interview Urban?
The Browns.
Why wouldn't he go to the Browns?
That's a rumor, and before this episode comes out, the Browns could have a new coach.
The first half is starting right now, by the way, before Andrew gets into this.
The second half.
Second half, sorry. So if you hear any grunts or frustrations, I'm sorry.
This might be kind of cool.
Dwayne Washington for 3. Bang!
Boom.
Oh, my God.
Book it. Insert Washington monument GIF.
We're down by 1. We're giving you the second half live.
Yeah, we'll give you the play-by-play. All right, top of the key, Wisconsin.
Kicks out to lean forward, down low to Kobe King. Posts up on Luther or Andre, can't see. We're kind of far. 7 dribbles, makes his move. Great wall up, finishes
and he
anyway.
Puts it in. And what I liked about Luther right there is he stood his ground. He didn't foul, and they made a tough shot.
And Andrew, it just goes to show you that sometimes good offense is better than good defense. And Andre was it for 3. We got a tie game.
We got a tie game. That looked a lot like Deshaun Thomas's shot right there. It just looked like Deshaun Thomas's form.
Andre's
really far
Andre's
from
a
the
righty.
TV. You can have similar form,
no.
It'd just be wrong hand.
No. Okay. Brad Davison has it up top.
All right, we're done with this.
Last possession. Aleem Ford has it on the wing. Pass it up to Brad Davison. Dwayne Washington one-on-one. Drives right. Step back. Fading.
No good.
No good. Luther Muhammad the rebound. And that's all we have. If you guys want us to do that for every game, let us know.
Yeah, we definitely can.
CJ Walker to the basket, reverse layup, and the Buckeyes are winning.
That's got to be a timeout from Wisconsin.
Why wouldn't I? Oh, because I don't gamble. But anyway.
We should have threw the
entire budget of the podcast.
We should have thrown the kitchen sink and all of our equipment on Ohio State money line second half. Okay, but back to the football players.
Yeah, sorry.
Back to the football players.
Let's talk about who has declared, who is yet to declare, or declare their
Okay, so Shaun Wade is yet to declare.
That's the only one that we're waiting for, right?
Arnett coming back or going?
He's going.
He's
a
gone.
Senior. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's my age, so he's gone.
Okay. Chrisman coming back. No one's coming back.
I know. Well,
unless Shaun Wade comes back.
Well, there's not. Shaun Wade's the only wishy-washy guy. No one thought Okuda was coming back. No one thought J.K. Dobbins, who we didn't know if he was going to leave.
Jonathan Taylor also, who
he doesn't have another
crazy?
Year. Jonathan Taylor doesn't have another
year.
year.
No, he just Jonathan Taylor has one more year like Dobbins, and he's going to the draft. And did you see the crazy stat that they both had 21 touchdowns and 2,003 yards this year?
Really?
Yeah. That's crazy.
But Jonathan Taylor won the best running back in the country because he played all of every single game, and J.K. Dobbins played half of every game.
Yeah.
Master
Teague, our favorite player, is coming back.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny how much he gets talked about in this podcast.
We have to have him on. That would be like a culmination of all the jokes. We have to have him on. Yeah. But so Okuda gone, Chase Young gone, Chrisman back.
Why are we Drew? I mean, he wasn't leaving.
Arnett Senior,
Blake Haubill back.
Back.
White, but back.
White accidentally put an L in there. There's just been so many Ohio State L's going around. I slipped another one in there. But I think we talked about this.
Back.
We talked about this last time. The team's not going to miss a beat.
Jeff Hafley gone.
The team's not going to miss a beat. Okay. Except I'm a little worried about running back. I'm a little worried about running back.
We're not going into what next year is going to look like for Ohio State. We're not doing that.
True.
This is not the episode.
Dwayne Haskins had the coolest tweet in the history of Twitter today.
Yeah, it's just like basically like, I know you're a Redskin.
Yeah,
congratulations.
He said, see you soon.
Congratulations on being a Redskin. But he could be really smart, and that could be awesome. We'll ask him when he's on the podcast next week. Oh, whoops, did I say that? Just kidding. It's not good. But he could be being really smart and creative with that tweet, or he could be serious, and Chase Young will probably work out for the Redskins within the next month.
Right. If he's at risk of being fined for like tampering or anything like that, which I don't think is possible, he'll just be like, he's coming in for a workout pre-meeting soon. Like,
wait, speaking of tampering, did you see that Part of My Take bought a Major League Lacrosse team called the Water Dogs, and on their podcast they said let's try and get suspended as owners and with something to do with tampering, if you can tamper in lacrosse. And I laughed out loud.
What team should we buy? A little league team?
We should. That would be funny if we sponsored a little league team. The Bucks are up 7, by the way. They were down 4 at half. Or down how much? Down 4 at halftime. They're up 7 now.
All right.
Quick little 11.
Joey, I have a question for you. I wrote this down a couple weeks ago. It didn't feel like the right time to talk about it in the last episode. Maybe it was 2 weeks. Christmas Day. Lakers, Clippers.
I'm Jewish.
Christmas Day. That's on the 25th every year.
Gotcha.
Christmas Day, Lakers, Clippers.
Oh, wait, before you say this, one time I asked
You're killing me.
I know, this is a funny story, and if I don't tell it now, it doesn't make any sense. The other like 2 years ago, and this was like 80% joking, 20% serious, I asked someone if Christmas was on the same day every year, and they looked at me like they saw a ghost.
That's a fair question.
I know, and I was like, sorry, I'm not Jewish, and Hanukkah's not on the same day every year.
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
July 4th is on the same day every year. Okay, back to what I was saying. Clippers, Lakers. Clippers, Lakers. I got something in my tooth.
You got something in your tooth?
Yeah.
You should see a doctor about that.
Clippers, Lakers.
About that.
Patrick Beverley blocks LeBron, which is funny to begin with. Patrick Beverley blocks LeBron. That's a lot of L's.
Blocked by James.
A lot of L's. Shout out Ohio State. And the ball goes out of bounds. It's off Patrick Beverley. He blocks him out of bounds. But you rewind it super, super slow-mo, 9 million speed slowed down, and it goes off of LeBron's like fingertip, ingrown hair nail. Who should that ball be off of?
Replay is so dumb, but it's necessary.
It also happened in the Final Four.
How about this? We put a shot clock on the replay. So certain calls, you get them right away. It's easy. You give them 2 minutes to look at it, whatever. Certain calls are done. They might not have gotten that one they be able to look at all the different looks and angles and slow-mo. They might not have been able to get that one in the 2 minutes. So then maybe that's the best way to solve it. I don't think replay should be used to always get the call right, but at the same time, that's not off LeBron, even though it is. I don't know. That's just weird.
Here's the thing, though. If
it's for Ohio State, then do it.
Exactly. We're LeBron fans. Okay.
What?
You don't like LeBron?
I mean, I respect him. I respect his greatness.
All
I
right.
love what he does for Ohio State.
I love LeBron.
I grew up hating LeBron.
So I obviously don't want that to be off LeBron. Okay. If it was an Ohio State-Michigan basketball game or Ohio State-Penn State, not to scare you.
No, real rival.
But an Ohio State-Penn State basketball game, okay, and it's a reverse situation, I obviously want Ohio State to get the ball, even though replay is frustrating.
You're
obviously going to say.
Let's get the calls right. That's my answer. Let's get the calls right in as fast amount of time.
Okay.
That's my answer. But it is bizarre when you slow it down. You have to go millisecond by millisecond to get the call right. Then it's like, is it really replay, or should we just have robots officiate the game?
Well, we're going to watch the end of this first half, and we're going to let you listen to our Keita Bates-Diop interview.
Oh, that's the wrong call. Courtney.
Wrong call. Check the replay.
But honestly, though.
If you're not watching this Ohio State basketball game at threes above high, you're doing something wrong, especially if you're in Columbus.
Well, definitely if you're in Columbus.
Definitely if you're in Columbus. All sporting attention, Columbus. All sporting events needs to be watched at threes above high. Okay? Next time you watch a Browns game at threes above high, they're going to have a new coach. Next time we're in Columbus, guess where we're going to watch games? At the arena, because we get tickets, because Joey gets me tickets. But next time
if we couldn't get tickets,
tickets, we would be at threes above high, the official video sponsor of the Drive the Lane, and the sponsor before interviews. So with that, grab your seatbelt, Keita, buckle up,
Bates-Diop.
Drive the Lane. All right, we now welcome on to the Drive the Lane podcast, former Ohio State Buckeye and Big Ten Player of the Year, and current Minnesota Timberwolf, Keita Bates-Diop. Welcome to the show. How we doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
It is about time. We've talked about this many times on when you were going to be on, and we knew it was just a when, not an if. So thanks for taking the time out for the little people in your life and talking to us.
I think it is worth noting that we're recording this while Ohio State is playing Wisconsin. And I did some research, and last time you played Wisconsin, you took care of business, 17 points, and a big dub, if I'm not mistaken. So I wanted to congratulate you on a great game.
You are correct. Thank you for that.
Keita, you know how many points we combined for in that game?
19, 18, 17?
19. 17.
Yes.
You had 17.
17's the best guess, but 19 because Kyle Young had a little outlet pass to me for a wide open layup because Wisconsin stopped trying down 40.
Did. I do remember that. We did win by like 40.
Yeah, well, it's a good game when Musa and JT were hitting some threes. So
yeah, facts.
That was great. But yeah, the game's going on right now. I know we talked before you got on about how your plans to watch this game and stuff. How closely have you been keeping an eye on this team?
I'm been keeping a real close eye. I got now a couple years out. I guess good to see the young guys like Dwayne and DJ and all them get like real integrated to the system and all that. It's good to see the young guys like how old like Deshaun and Evan looked at us, like look how we look at them now. It's crazy.
It is fun to be some sort of an older brother type of deal because you got to come back for a couple weeks last summer and work out with them. Did you expect these guys to be, as advertised, as good as they are right now?
Yeah, I did actually. Obviously, we played with Dre and Caleb and KY, but I knew Dwayne a little bit before he got on campus, so I could just tell like their work ethic, like how they hung out, and did all the little things together. I could tell that they're going to be at least a pretty good team, but now they're like a great team.
Yeah, it'll be pretty exciting. Last year we got to hang out a little bit at the Final Four, obviously with it being in Minneapolis. Are we making some plans to go there together again next year?
I don't think so. Listen, Final Four is in Minneapolis. It's still during our season, so it's kind of hard. It was just good luck last year. That was here where I am.
So you're telling me, let's say Ohio State makes a great run. They're in the Final Four. You can't go for a night? I think you can.
if we play that night, obviously not. But
yeah.
but if I had like a day off or 1 or 2 days off, I will definitely try my best to make it. Obviously I want to go see the Ohio State play Final Four.
Speaking of having a game that night, you're having a much better season. You're off to a much better start this year than last year. What's kind of clicking for you or working for you this year differently from last year?
I think it's just the maturity of it. Like your rookie year, you don't really know what's going on. It's a lot of ups and downs. The NBA is a whole new season. It's 82 games versus 31 or 32, whatever it is in college. So like just adjusting to all of that. It was hard for my rookie year, but second year, like you kind of figure out how things are going. You're more like comfortable with it. So that's just kind of how I'm playing this year. It's more comfortable.
Yeah, you also don't have Jimmy Butler running around and screaming all during practice this year, do you?
Oh my God! Oh my God! It wasn't. People blew that so out of proportion. That's why, like, after he left and all that, everyone tried to like forget about it and just move on from it. You know what I mean? It wasn't exactly the biggest thing.
All right, well, we're gonna ask you one question before. Were you on that team that he grabbed of backups?
No, I wasn't actually. I was second team at the time. And I forget who all was on the third team. But no, I wasn't. Everyone assumed we were. I was as a rookie, but I wasn't.
I remember texting you. I didn't text you right after all that news came out because I knew that everyone was texting you. So then, I waited a day and a half and texted you. I was like, please be on that team. Please be on that team. You're like, no. I was actually on the other court. I didn't even see it.
Everyone assumed I was. Part of me wishes, obviously, but nah.
Speaking of teammates, we'll get away from that because that's hilarious in terms of everyone talks about this league and NBA Twitter. That's one of the moments of the year. But in all seriousness, who have been some of your best teammates so far, either with the Timberwolves? You don't have to mention college because we know the answer to that. But with the Timberwolves, who have been some of your best teammates? Some guys that really took you under their wing.
Man, the number one guy for me was. Our games are kind of similar. We're the same size, body type, all that. And he's been around before he retired. That was his 14th or 15th year, whatever it was. A really long time. I was trying to figure out what did you do to stay in the league that long. It took me a while to really ask the question I should have probably asked earlier. But I gained 20 something, 30, whatever it was. I really started picking his brain and everything. She was top of the list for me, but obviously we had a bunch of other good vets like Derrick Rose and Taj and a bunch of other guys, but it was definitely Lou for me.
Yeah. So for those of you listening that aren't familiar with Lou is actually Lou Aldang, and Joey and I are longtime Bulls fans.
Which Keita knows, and Keita also Bulls fan.
Yeah. So what was that?
Yeah, also.
So what was that like? Kind of getting to play with the guys that you, in a sense,
playing with the Bulls team.
Play with the Bulls team that you probably used in 2K, grew up watching, went to their games. What was that like?
Man, it was crazy because I had to keep my cool. But I remember that first couple of days, training camp or whatever, when everybody was there. It was Derrick Rose, Taj, Lou, John Lucas was a coach at the time, and obviously Tibbs was the head coach at the time when the Bulls were really good. So I'm like, man, it's just high school all over again. I'm seeing all them make plays. And I'm like, yo, this is really crazy. I'm trying to keep my cool in my mind, but I was like, man, that's Derrick Rose talking to me and trying to teach me stuff. I'm like, I just play it cool, don't be fanboy or whatever. But man, it was crazy the whole year. And obviously when Derrick had a 50-point game last year, I was like, oh, this is a dream come true. I witnessed him score 50 points. That's all he's been through. It was crazy.
What about do you remember the first time that Tibbs yelled ice at you? That's the only thing you could hear on TV as a Bulls fan. Keita, ice, Keita.
It was probably practice, and it was it was probably early on too. But man, it was good though. He was trying to get me better, obviously.
Yeah, so when I was growing up, I used to create a player in 2K and put myself on the Bulls with those players, and you actually got to do that for real. So that's
Did you feel like you were in a video game?
Oh, definitely.
As a rookie, that's the dream.
Yeah, but for sure, like everyone dreams about like playing like on the whatever NBA team is like close to their home or whatever. I didn't get that, but it was close enough. Like
Yeah.
it was like 4, 5, 6, like most players. I was like, man, this is a dream come true. I don't care what city it is.
You want to hear something funny? Because we're going to shift to college. Guess who Caleb just scored on?
I've been playing Wisconsin. Who you just scored on?
Flashback to practice.
Oh, Micah Potter. Oh, my God. Oh, man. I forgot he was there.
I know. That was kind of mean. But it was he gave him the little Caleb bow that Mike always complained about and scored.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I only have to watch the game to know what exactly happened.
yeah.
So, back when you were in college, who on your team would you kind of get into it with practice? Not in a negative way, but like who did you feel could really challenge you on the defensive end at Ohio State?
It probably shifted a couple of times in my time. Like freshman year was like for sure. After that, it was definitely back and forth between like JT. I remember Dre would give me some trouble sometimes. KY because he played so hard. Yeah, definitely those guys. JT for sure. We tried not to be on the same team, but man, we'd always go at it. I remember that.
Yeah, if I were to answer that question, I would say definitely not Kyle, because poor freshman Kyle Young, came in and Keita had the best summer I've ever seen of any player ever. And Kyle didn't really know us because he came in later and you know all that stuff because he was going to go to Butler and yada yada yada. And so I got really close with Kyle really fast, and he came up to me after the first open gym and was like, "Is this what it's like every time?" I'm like, you don't understand. Keita had the whole year off. It's a little different animal now. Oh man, no, but the easy answer, if as a bystander, is JT and you were never on the same team, which was obviously on purpose. And then Dre was at times awesome, and at times he was the bucket magnet of the team. So it didn't matter if he was guarding you or me. We were probably hitting the shot.
Dre was always either the bucket magnet every now and then, or he would hit every shot at the shot clock.
It was never both though. It was one or the other. He was having a great day or he was having a bad day, and both coaches were never mad at him because he's always right. He's just that guy. He's always when you're guarding the best player in the entire game.
He would play great D every time.
I mean he's still doing it, which is insane. I mean, now with Kyle maybe out for a couple weeks or whatever that might be, he's going to go back to classic Dre where he plays the 2 through the 5, and the most notable game where he was playing the 5 was Purdue. Exactly.
Purdue.
Is that one of, if not the top moments from your Ohio State career?
That's definitely top 3. Definitely top 3. Just because, I think they were number 1. Were they number 1 at the time? Number 2 or 3, whatever it was?
I think they were 3.
Yeah, I think they were 3. And
they were
14.
3. Yeah. So that was like our biggest one. Have you ever beat Michigan State? Or was that after?
We beat Michigan State. That was like our 4th game in the Big Ten season. This was like our 10th or something.
This was towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
This was like the momentum was shifting for you guys for the NCAA tournament. It was like shifting away from a higher seed, and then this kind of propelled you guys back into the top seed.
That was probably I don't know what was that might have been the best locker room ever, just because they have a bigger locker room. It's not nice. No road locker rooms are nice. But it was enough space where we had like a full-on dance party after the game, and
no, we definitely did.
And it wasn't quite the same as when we beat Michigan State at home. Keep in mind, in order for us to win these big games, Keita had you had 35 against Michigan State or something like that, and then you had a game-winning shot against Purdue. So I mean, those are pretty good individual memories. Are there any other moments, maybe not from the most successful season that stands out to you, or only from those great years?
No, I mean, the great years, obviously, I got a lot of memories. Like the last year, we probably, the Michigan State game, Purdue game, even though Wisconsin, we had one there in, 10 years, it felt like.
Right.
But even, early on, it's freshman year, the first game, NCAA tournament, first time, I'll never forget, the VCU game freshman year, just because, we were, down, down bad, then we, switched it up. D'Angelo went crazy. Overtime, our first NCAA experience, it was this crowd. I'll never forget that game. But even the ups and downs, if you were there for them, in between years, sophomore and junior year. Just the growing pains we had to go through. I was there for either.
Yeah, speaking of your sophomore, my freshman year, I think you owe some some thanks to me for guarding you every single day in practice and turning you into the Big Ten Player of the Year. Is that safe to say or no?
That's safe to say. You and a couple other guys helped me out, but you were definitely part of it. You were always, there was no easy shots. I don't care if you fouled or not.
Yeah, no easy shots because I was fouling you.
I was like, oh my God.
Micah just scored. He traveled. He just scored, though.
So your junior year, when you get hurt, you're done for the season. At what point did it start going through your mind that you were like, holy shit, I'm coming back stronger and better than ever, and I'm going to be the best player, arguably, in the country? Was there ever a point where you wanted to quit, or were you all fight, I'm about to dominate?
No, there was definitely a lot of fight. But yeah, I had some down days for sure. I had some setbacks, like in my rehab, recovery and all that. Like, I was down bad for a little bit, but I had great friends and family. Obviously, like, Joey was always supporting me. Like, JT was my roommate at the time. He was always supporting me, like, telling me to get back and be better than ever. CJ, a couple other guys. But now it's all fight, just trying to get back. Like, we came from high school before we committed to Ohio State. Ohio State was, like, this like top-tier team. Like, all like, didn't matter. Like, they were going to be top 5, top 10. We got there. It was good freshman year. Down for, like, a lot of, like, pride started kicking. Like, man, we cannot, like, go out like this. I remember me and JT would have conversations. Like, there's no way, like, we can go out. Like, not bringing Ohio State down, but, like, not leaving, like, a good legacy behind. You know what I mean? So, like, we just worked. We, like, worked every day. I remember, like, summer. We would go a couple times a day in the summer. We'd run open gyms. I remember Joey remembers, like, we'd bring guys in, work out together, like, all that kind of stuff. We weren't maybe doing the first couple of years. We were just trying to, like, just bring Ohio State back. You know what I mean?
How big of an impact do you think Holtman had on your success in your last year at Ohio State? You personally?
He had a lot because he kind of let me just kind of be like, he was always hard on me. Like, no matter what, he kind of let me be me and figure things out. Him, Pito, Coach T, Strike, like, all of them, they were just like, this is your, like, team. Like, this is you, JT, Cam, like, kind of same thing I just said, like, how do you guys want to be, like, remembered? You know what I mean? They kind of kept putting that in the back of our minds all the time, and it kind of, like, propelled us forward.
I think, obviously, you and me both are two of the biggest Coach Mata fans there are. I think that one thing that kind of separated Holtman was, that he always talked about it with the team, the meeting that he had with you and JT where you guys said what you just said. Look, like, we're not leaving Ohio State in a bad way. We don't want a bad taste in our mouth. We want to go out the right way. And Holtman was 100,000% on the side of, okay, we won't let our seniors down. And that rubbed off on everyone from you guys, obviously, through the other upperclassmen like me and like Cam and whoever, but also to the freshmen that are coming in. And that's what I think has really made, Ohio State so successful for year in and year out. It'll stay the same. That hungriness is pretty awesome. And that's not, a Holtman necessarily thing. It kind of started with you guys setting the tone. And I think that's maybe something that people don't understand, but you've kind of told the stories. It was like there is no alternative other than being successful, and I think that's rubbed off on everyone else.
Yeah, definitely. There was no other way about it. Like, I remember whenever Coach Mata got fired, whatever week that was, it was early in the summer. You remember, you were there, right?
Yep.
You were definitely there. Yeah, you were there. It was early in the summer. And we didn't have a coach for like 2-3 weeks. It was maybe just a couple weeks. So we were just kind of like in limbo, and that's when it really started to kick in for us. So we got to take it over. And even like the rest of summer, when Coach Holt came in, they were still trying to like fill coaching positions, like still strengthen condition, like trying to move their families back and forth. Like, we didn't really have a whole lot of which is like a regular summer as opposed to like the first couple of years, and then your last year there, Joey. It was we kind of our own allowed. We had a couple like individual workouts, but it wasn't like how it normally is, just because the transition was so late. Usually, like stuff like that happens, it's usually right after the season, but we didn't have that like luxury of getting all that time together. So we kind of organized a lot of different things. I remember Doc did too when he came in. He was a big leader for us.
Yeah.
In the summer, coming from Michigan, like he kind of had a championship pedigree with him too already. He kind of that rubbed off on us, and we rubbed off on him. Like it was a mutual thing. So that definitely helped us in the summer. It was just us banding together.
Yeah, it was the maturity, that maybe we didn't have, and it's not anyone's fault necessarily that it wasn't there those few down years we had, but the maturity it was a different level when, guys kind of put their emotions out there and said, look, like we want to win. We're not just here, we want to be successful, and that's it's been a domino effect because it was the same way last year, when it was me, CJ, and Keyshawn, and we went through, a 5-game losing streak. It's like, look, like we have no other choice. Whatever's happened has happened. Just like we didn't have a summer to work out the first year. Doesn't matter. Like we got to get it done, and it's pretty cool. Do you got any other exciting, different stories from your time at Ohio State that the people haven't heard?
Let me try to think. Exciting stories I can tell on a podcast that won't get anybody in trouble. Probably I could say it's my freshman year.
Yeah.
My freshman year, it's like early, so it's probably the first couple of weeks or whatever. We're still trying to get acclimated to everything. And I remember the first circuit with Coach Rich. I know you probably remember yours too, Joey. Like,
oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Just thinking about it gives me like a headache. We had to wake up at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. whatever the time was, and just like the hardest, like almost military like workouts. I never throw up. I threw up like all day afterwards. Like, I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything. I know everybody else that went through it at first had like a similar experience. I know you do. You and Jake threw up the same day. I'm pretty sure you guys did.
Yeah.
You told me that story.
I threw up a lot. We had Coach Mata on, and he's like, oh, I got a story for you guys, and told the story about me throwing up for the first time. So yeah.
Yeah. See? Everyone got I got a lot, man. You got to catch me before you tell me like you gonna ask me that question. I got a lot of stories.
I know. No, totally.
I don't want to anger you with this question, but do you hate Penn State?
Yes. Yes. I will hate them forever. Forever.
I used to joke with my friends, and I'd be like, oh my God, like days after the game, I'd be like, oh, Ohio State just lost to Penn State again. Even days after the game, I kind of.
That's what it felt like.
I mean,
I'm still mad about it. I'm not even mad about like the last two games. I'm mad about the first one, the third one, the second time we played them. That first time we played them, I'll never get over that feeling. We were supposed to win that one. We were supposed to get that one.
No, I just can't. The thing that pisses me off the most. Where's Tony Carr? Where is he? What's he doing?
No idea.
No clue. That guy is the best player to ever touch a basketball when he plays Ohio State, and now
he's probably selling Tony Cars somewhere.
I mean, yeah, that's good.
He would average like 30 against us. Like I swear it was 30. I'm pretty sure it was like 30 for 3 straight games.
No, I mean, the game, like you kind of said, the game at their place. We from the tip we weren't winning that game, and that's okay. Like there are games like that.
Okay.
There are games like that in the Big Ten. Like that's just a fact. But
yeah, no one goes undefeated.
The first game, we should have won. We played terrible, and we still had a chance to win. But the third game, you got mauled at the end of the game. And then
I definitely did.
But we don't need to
get a rehash of that one memory.
Holy shit!
All right, so the story I was saying, your freshman year, you hadn't played
our senior year in high school.
Mine and Joey's senior year in high school. Ohio State cheerleaders at the time had a cheer that was like rip them up, tear them up, OSU. And you got in the game, and I think it was a game, and you were scoring at the end of the game to like bring Ohio State back. And my little brother and I started chanting, rip them up, tear them up, Bates-Diop, instead of rip them up, tear them up, OSU. And your whole career, every time you had a good game, my little brother would text me and say, rip them up, tear them up, Bates-Diop. So I text him today, I'm like, we're interviewing Bates-Diop tonight. And he replied, rip them up, tear them up, Bates-Diop. And I'm like, I'll for sure tell him that story.
That's great.
On a similar note, we called Keita KBD MVP, which is stuck a little bit better.
Rip him up, tear him up,
Yeah,
Bates-Diop.
I like the ring in that one a little bit better.
We might have to hit some people up in the Minnesota Timberwolves social media office and try and get that one going. What do you think about that?
Oh my God. We already have a couple of MVP candidates on the team.
Yeah. There's always room for another one.
So,
Yeah, you can never have too many.
so I'm sure you're familiar with Joey's friend Jalen Brunson. Joey often speaks of him. Was it awkward that you were competing for Player of the Year against one of Joey's other good friends, or was it pretty civil?
No, it was pretty civil, but it was just cool for like two guys from Illinois that Joey knows like really well to like competing for like first team All-American, second team All-American Player of the Year. I think he won't. We both got Player of the Year. He won Player of the Year in B. I got Player of the Year in the Big Ten. So Joey knows some great people.
Oh yeah, just the clout was off the charts.
So it was definitely better for Joey that season than it was for you because he had both of you.
Yeah, I had 2 Player of the Years. You just had 1.
Yes. Yeah, I got 1. He got 2.
I will say my senior year I won the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award. Did you know that, Keita?
I did know that. So you also have an individual award.
I asked Wally. Wally's our media relations guy. I said, Wally, do I get anything for that? He said, no, literally nothing. So that's good.
You didn't get anything?
Not
even a certificate?
No, not a single thing. But that's okay. It's all right. It all comes back full circle. We're good.
Keita, where do you think you rank on the all-decade Ohio State basketball team?
All decade. I saw the video that David posted.
Yeah.
About Ohio State, and it was like I was honored to be a part of that group. Honestly, I know it's cliche to say that, but like I am. So I've always been like Ohio State fan for like Evan and Kraft and Will and Sully to D'Angelo, and then there's me and JT, and in the future, like it closes it out. I'm just honored to be a part of it. That's a lot of great players just to be mentioned, on the same breath of.
I think it's bullshit that Evan Turner's on that list because he only got to play like 4 months in that last decade. So I think you deserve that spot over ET.
Keita, you want to give us your all-decade team?
All decade. I'm not going to include myself, but I will give it all decade.
You're the
team.
sixth
man. Just do starting lineup.
Yeah, you're the sixth.
You're the sixth man. Give us the all-decade starting lineup.
All decade starting lineup. We'll go with. I'll go with Kraft as the point guard.
Okay.
I'll make D'Angelo the 2.
Okay.
Evans. Can I use Evan or no?
Yes.
It's your list.
It's bullshit,
yeah.
but yes.
Evan will be the 3. I'll go DT as the 4. Deshaun Thomas.
Oof.
And Soy's the 5.
Wow, that's
a lot of bucks out there.
That's a lot of baskets. Oh my god.
That team's winning the TBT for sure.
That's
easily, for sure.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's my all decade first team.
I like that list. I like it a lot. I think I would agree with it.
I think that's the
except for
team.
Except for the Evan Turner, I think I'd agree with it.
Oh my god, that's just hating. You take Evan out. You can put like Will in there or something like that.
Yeah. We're gonna take Evan out until he comes on the show, which he said he's going to, and then hasn't yet. So that's fine.
He's going. He got time. He got plenty of time.
Yeah. No, totally.
So
they're killing the Celtics right now. He's probably not playing.
Oh really?
Yeah,
he probably is playing.
No, that was a joke.
So when you first got into the NBA, and we got just a couple more questions for you, and then we'll let you go finish your haircut. You're not very active on Twitter. The last thing you retweeted was about Luol Deng, who we just talked about, and then also an Ohio State thing. You want to throw out the eyes emoji for us and get people talking about you? They'll be like, what's going on?
Do you even know your Twitter password?
Man, I don't know if I do. I'll have to do the reset password sent to my email and get it back out. I've on Twitter in a while.
That's fine. We'll put this out on this coming Monday, and you'll just repost it to your Instagram story. That's better.
That's easier. I'm active on Instagram, so.
All right. Last question before we let you go. Do you have any questions for us?
What episode is this for you guys?
Wow.
Counting the live show, this
like
is
14?
18.
18? Whoa. Jeez.
But
Time
not
flies when you're
not
having
counting
fun.
the live show, this is 17.
Give me a top 3 or 5, whichever one's easier. What's a guess? Give me a top 3 to 5
Well,
guess.
it's like picking your children,
Guess.
Keita.
All right, well, I can give you.
We'll each give you 3.
We'll give you 3. So my
Okay.
number one is Sully is my. I'm going to give you 3 in no order. Sully is my basketball icon, or was when I was growing up. So that was pretty cool to get to interview him. Coach Mata was an unbelievable interview. He gave us a ton.
You have to listen. I know you haven't listened to that. You actually have to listen to that. It's incredible.
Yeah, I know he's got some good things to say.
Yeah, he gave us a ton of good content. And then
Yeah.
Coach Holtman.
Oh, my
that
God,
was
just
really
steal
cool.
all of them.
Well, that was really cool because we got to do it at the offices, and I got to look at all the cool trophies and stuff, and like your Big Ten Player of the Year award trophies there. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Those are great answers, and those are our answers. But I don't. Sully, Andrew loves Sully. I love Sully too, but I also saw him all the time, so it wasn't as. I mean, it was awesome, but you know what I'm saying. My top 3 are. Titus was awesome. He was hilarious. He was giving me shit the whole time. You know our whole deal together. But Titus was awesome. Gio was awesome. He was so funny.
Oh yeah,
I mean he was so funny. He was singing. It was hilarious. Like he was hilarious.
He was what?
He was singing. Like we talked about him with Justin Timberlake at the ESPYs, and then he started singing. Like it was.
Yeah, I gotta see that. I gotta watch that one.
Yeah, you can actually see it. It's on YouTube too. But the last one, and Andrew will love this one. We had Tyvis Powell. You remember him, the safety from a couple years back. He is so funny, and everything from his voice, his answers. It was great interview in terms of what he said, but then how he said it. It was just we were laughing, both of us, with him the entire time. I mean, it was a blast. So those are our answers. That's a great question, Keita. Thanks for interviewing us.
Hey, man. You know I'm good at stuff like that.
All right, man. Well, we very much appreciate you taking the time to do this for us. Keep kicking ass and taking Towns' minutes.
Yeah, keep taking his minutes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Good luck the rest of the year, my man. We'll stay in touch, and I'll be out.
Yeah,
I'll be out to Minnesota soon. You know that.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah.
You better. You don't see me. You don't come see me anymore.
No, I'll be there. I have plans. You know, we've talked about it. Anyway,
yeah, I've seen your parents more than you.
I know. Man, that's another story. But you know what? They just follow. They are Ohio State groupies. So anytime they can go anywhere to see anyone Ohio State related, they're in. So
that's a fact. Anywhere in the Midwest, they're there.
Anywhere. All right, buddy. Keep killing it the rest of the year. You officially have the drive the lane bump. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. That really means a lot.
All right, buddy.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the Drive the Lane podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, tweet it out. See you next week.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and you know we got Buckeye IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.